Great. Well, hello to Stony Brook, and I'm here with Cindy Pittens. Very
Hi.
exciting. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Brett.
And I hear that Anne-Marie said this is the second time you've been at an AIN conference. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. Last year I was in Paris. Was the first time.
Oh, great. Great. Have you met some of the same people this year already?
Yes, it's amazing how many the same faces come by, actually. And you all the time have the idea, hey, I know you.
Yeah.
But then you don't know, and you only know, it's probably last year in Paris. So,
Right.
yeah, but
Right.
many familiar faces, yeah.
Oh, great. Great. Nice. And you wanted to debrief on a workshop you did with Gary Schwartz. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about that. It was about side coaching and releasing your intuition. Was it intuition and authenticity or something? It sounded very intriguing.
Yes. Well, the good thing about Gary, I met him yesterday, like by accident at the traffic light. I looked at his face and I was like, I think I should know you, but I don't know from what. And he says, well, I'm kind of, people know me.
Awesome.
So we started talking, and that was a real cool conversation. And he teaches the work of Viola Spolin. He was a mentor student from her, first 10 years, and then they had friendship for another 20 years. So he's pretty close to her. And so that was why I was curious about this workshop. And he told me about the way that Viola works and that he works is to let people experience and learn through exercises and playing, and as less how do you say it, debriefing as possible.
Oh, that's okay.
So as less as possible explanation, as not too much debriefing, just experience and let people do the work themselves, and use play as the optimal way of working. So to get people out of their head into their body, using their intuition and being authentic, I guess. Yeah.
Right.
So in the workshop, we saw a very, very small part, I guess, of what that contains. He tried to explain a little bit how to coach, how to side coach without giving orders. And I think what an important part is that you become part of the journey instead of being seeing it from a distance and overlook it. Be part of the journey of the people that you work with. Okay. And so work with that. Yeah.
Interesting. Can you expand on that a bit more? Like, how did what would you imagine that to look like, or how did he explain that when you were part of the journey as opposed to being on the outside of it?
Well, as an example, we did an exercise that was about, first of all, you had the mirror, right? We all know that mirror exercise to do exactly what the leader does, or follow the follower at a certain point, right? After that, we did an exercise that was not the physical mirror, but to sit across each other and talk. And he would say switch as soon as he wanted to switch the follower and leader roles. So that's what he did. He showed us how to do that. So two people sat across each other and they had this talk at the same time, trying to mirror each other's lips and speech and speak at the same time. And he was mirroring actually with it. So he was the third party, very much involved with the two people that were doing the exercise. Okay. And you can see that he is part of what is happening to understand at what moment that you should say switch as a side coach. So that should be the moment that both of the people are involved very much. not ending a sentence, but trying to catch it in the middle of the sentence.
Right.
And as he said, I can only do that as long as I'm really part of where these two people are.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a way, I think he showed us how to be part of that journey of the contestants or the participants or whatever you call it. Yeah.
That's so neat. So as opposed to just being on the outside and being like, okay, now everybody switch, he's really in it, feeling when that moment comes. What a difference.
Yes,
That's
yes.
cool.
And I think the idea about it is that as a coach, you are not above your participants, but you are equal.
Yeah.
And you are part of the learning journey that you are in together. So there is no, well, I think there is always kind of a status difference, but he is trying to make that minimal. Okay. So so you're really doing that together. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you think that's part of, or I'm wondering what you mentioned before, that he was less about the debriefing and more about the actual experiencing and playing.
Yeah.
How does that, because that's quite almost opposite of what I've experienced. How did that,
yes.
How did you react to that? How did that feel?
Yeah, I think that's so very interesting to learn, I guess, because I think I'm as much as a head person as a body and sense person, right? And I'd like to debrief stuff all the time because I think, it's so important and you learn stuff, right?
Yeah.
And things go much faster when you debrief and you're creating awareness with your participants and all this stuff. I only have talked to Gary and I did not experience it yet, how that really works. But he's so passionate about it. And I think it comes from the idea that you don't know more than the participant. And everyone is in another stage of his learning journey, and you cannot tell them what they need to learn. They have to experience it.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So someone can only comprehend what's really for them to learn. And as an outsider, you cannot predict or fill in for the other person. So you just have to let them experience. And as if you are a very good trainer, I understand. But this is all my what I understand of Gary from this couple of conversations, right?
Yeah,
I'm not sure if I'm right. And Gary, if you look this, please comment on it if it's not what you meant. What I understand that you cannot decide as a trainer if it's right or wrong what this participant's doing. So you cannot coach in right or wrong or the direction that he needs to go, because he has to choose that direction himself or herself or themselves or whatever you call yourself.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, very. So
yeah.
Would you say that sort of that was kind of your biggest takeaway from this workshop, was this idea of I guess not the debriefing, but the playing and being a part of it and being more at an equal level? Or what was sort of your biggest takeaway from the workshop?
Yeah, I'm cheating a bit because I think I'm mostly inspired because of the talks I had with him. Yeah. And the workshop was a very small part of what we talked about.
Right.
So if I would refer to the workshop, well, I actually liked the end where we did the dolphins game or the singing game. I don't know if you know it, where someone leaves the room and the people in the room decide what actions that person needs to do when it comes back. Oh. And when the person comes back, they start singing a children's song like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, or something like that. Yeah. And when you're getting near doing what you're supposed to do, you start singing louder. And when you are moving away from what you should do, they start singing
quieter.
Yes, quieter, exactly.
Wow, so the whole group singing and helping this one person. Oh, I've only ever done it in pairs. I've never done it as a whole group like that. How interesting.
It's so much fun because the whole group is so enthusiastic and involved in that they want you to do the right thing, right?
Yeah.
So I jumped up when he asked for a volunteer, and I wanted to do that. So that was my part of this workshop, and I knew the game, so it was fun. You just keep on moving until you know what they want you to do, and there's some kind of tension in the group. But I think that what is the thing that you really learn is that you don't have to say as a side coach what the other person needs to do. You can just advise to take it slow, or not pointing out the right direction, but by telling them to encourage them in the right direction. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
without pointing it exactly, just encouraging them.
Right.
Not saying this is right, but or you should do this, or you should go that direction. No, it's about, okay, you're doing it, doing it, right? Or you're not really doing it. Well, you're not. This isn't it. Well, right? So
because then the person gets that joy of discovering it eventually too. It's not just, oh, okay, I'll do that. It's, oh, am I almost there? And when you get there, you have this whole joy of like, yes, I did it. And everyone supported me. Yeah.
Exactly. So that is a very supportive way of coaching. And it's a way where you put, I think, all responsibility for your journey and adventure at the participant's part, right? Yeah. So that's a good thing. Then if you learn something, you actually learn it yourself. And it wasn't something that someone told you. It goes way more into your awareness than when someone puts something in your head.
Yeah, that experiencing it versus just being told it is such a big part of learning, hey?
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. I think that's what it's all about with this side coaching, to find this intuition of your participant and his authenticity. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, very cool. Well, is there anything else? We're kind of reaching the end of our time here. Yeah. Is there anything else that's kind of stood out, or that you'd like to share so far, from maybe just from the conference in general?
I wouldn't know. It's very noisy. I love it. There are so many happy people here, and everybody wants to share.
Awesome.
But so the good thing, I think at the introduction yesterday, they really told us or shared to take care of yourself. So awesome. It is overwhelming. It is a lot. There are many people. You want to talk to everybody. You don't want to miss anything out. But what I understand is that they really motivate you to take care of yourself. If you need a rest, it's okay. If you miss something, you won't die. You have to first take care of yourself, and then go and learn and experience and meet new people. Yeah,
I love it.
So that's a good thing. Yeah, they take good care of us, I guess. Yeah.
Perfect. I think that's so important, and that's, I think, partly why Anne-Marie wanted to do these video sets as well. Was you're never going to be able to do everything and do all the workshops and listen to everything, and you're going to need to take breaks. So having people like you step forward and be willing to do these little debriefs it's so great for those of us that can't be there, but also for the people there to be able to check in. So please spread the word about these as well, and check out Anne-Marie's posts and encourage people to sign up for a little minute for us. And thank you so much for debriefing that awesome workshop. I love it. All these interviews, I need to watch them all again and take notes, because I just find them so rewarding already. So thank you.
I guess you shouldn't take notes. You should just come and experience it, and then you'll really learn, right?
That's true. Next year, I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen.
Awesome. I'll see you next year then, Brett. Awesome.